Get over and watch the Nerdrotic. Similar to the drinker, he's funny, knowledgeable, knows what he's talking about. This should be fun. Oh boy. Oh boy. Let's get it. Oh God. I was like, watch this gonna get back to staring again.
Yes, get on with it!
Nerdrotic.com.
Welcome you over 840,000 practitioners of common sense and the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Once again, it's time to talk about the zombie franchise known as Disney Star Wars. There was a new hope on October 30th, 2012 when Disney purchased Star Wars from George Lucas. Absolutely everything was in place on paper. Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, and Mark Hamill were on board. George Lucas was said to still be involved. Prolific producer Kathleen Kennedy was put in charge of Lucasfilm, and fan excitement was at almost an all-time high. And I was one of those people. I was excited.
Me too.
I thought Kathleen Kennedy was right for the job. I thought this would be the best for the future of Star Wars.
Oh, my sweet summer child.
Little did we know that October 30th, 2012 was the day Star Wars died. And yes, we need to stop dead naming Star Wars. The only thing that exists now is Disney Star Wars. And now that Disney owns Lucasfilm, they have done everything in their power to ground this franchise and the fandom into dust. Kathleen Kennedy and her...
By the way, I saw a trailer for a new Disney Daisy Ridley movie. It looks like it's actually going to be pretty good. You guys got, I forgot what it's called. It's like, the name of it's something you wouldn't think would be the name of the film. But check it out.
Her patriarchy-smashing story group who have promised that the Force will be female have turned the beloved rogue Han...
The Force is
Han Solo into a bad dad who walked into his son's lightsaber. They turned the hero of generations, Luke Skywalker, into a quitter who drank soy milk out of a manatee titty and OD'd on the Force. And they destroyed our beloved, strong-willed Princess Leia and demoted her into a general girl boss Mary Poppins. And that was after they canceled LucasArts and the EU, not exactly endearing themselves to fandom.
You know, I thought they were going to kill her off since she had died. I was like, okay, they're killing her off in this movie. Kept her alive. I was actually very surprised by that moment. I actually liked it. I was like, whoa, okay. But then when I got online, everybody's making all these Mary Poppins jokes. And it took all the steam out of it for me. I liked it. I was like, this was my reaction when I saw it happen. I was like, okay then. Alright, that's alright. And I was like pleasantly surprised in a way. Okay, where are we gonna go with this? A shame they didn't go anywhere with it.
Yet, even after the complete destruction of the Holy Trinity of Star Wars, Han, Luke, and Leia, there was still hope. Not by me. D+'s flagship show, The Mandalorian, was released. Season 1 was back to basics and well received. Season 2 was filled with cameos and nostalgia bait, including a digital face Luke Skywalker. Star Wars was saved until they fired Gina Carano. But not to worry, Disney Star Wars finally got around to making the show that The Mandalorian should have been. Boba Fett, with Tamora Morrison returning to play a character he never played. Star Wars was saved until people actually saw it, and even Tamora Morrison thought it sucked. But Disney wasn't done there.
Yeah,
After completely disrespecting George Lucas and the prequel fans with the very first line of dialogue in The Force Awakens.
This will begin to make things right.
Lucas actually decided they needed them, but with a twist,
Yeah,
and brought back Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen. Star Wars is saved until it was actually released and people could actually witness more established Star Wars lore being shattered. The return of Hayden Christensen was completely wasted, and the rematch of the century ended up being
stuff always kills me.
Quitting
Always kills me.
Unfortunately,
When they have kids running and the grown adult can't catch them at all. Children are very easy to catch. Have you ever watched kids before, see them running around, you get something in their hand, you just walk over to them and get them. You know what I mean? Even one that age, like there's no way they can get away from you.
Obi-Wan show wasn't about Obi-Wan or Luke or Anakin, and it ended up being about a little 8-year-old girl boss Princess Leia who runs like a toddler and a misunderstood female antagonist who's a part of 2 growing clubs, a survivor of Order 66 and a survivor of a gut shot from a lightsaber.
Yes.
After doing the unthinkable with Obi-Wan and killing Star Wars again, Lucasfilm follows that up with Andor, the critically acclaimed Star Wars show that's the least like Star Wars. Star Wars is safe. No, nobody watched it. This brings us to Ahsoka, and now for the 5th or 6th time, I'm not even keeping track, Star Wars is saved. This time it's gonna work. The subs will come running to the yet-to-be profitable D+. I mean, who doesn't want to watch a bunch of bland women impersonating stoic men in search of balls? And the only thing required to watch Ahsoka...
By the way, I think Theory likes it so far. So we'll see. I already gave it a 3. Both episodes are 3 out of 5. So hopefully, hopefully ends up, being a big hit, and
is 7 seasons of The Clone Wars, 4 seasons of Rebels, Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and 2 episodes of Boba Fett. The good news is, there have been no fan attacks prior to this show being released. The bad news is, it's not like Disney Star Wars didn't want to do it. They can't because of the strike. You would think this would actually benefit the show, and we can judge it on its own merits, and that's where the problems begin. Ahsoka is essentially Women in Space, or Star Her's Ahsoka, the Her to the Empire. Created and written by Star Wars savior Dave Filoni, it has some of the worst editing I've ever seen on the D+ platform. It's paced like an automotive part replacement video on YouTube, except not as entertaining. And I've seen better acting on those short independent films on the hub. This is essentially Rebels Season 5, and the cartoon characters show more emotion than the humans. It's passionless, it's soulless, it is quintessential Disney Star Wars. Ahsoka opens up with a dumb white guy, so you know he's dead. Captain Dumb White Guy receives an old Jedi clearance code that he knows is bullshit.
He looks familiar.
All their bluff and gets himself and his diverse crew killed by Ray Stevenson, R.I.P., and his Chihuahua. They free girl boss Morgan Elsbeth, who you may or may not remember from The Mandalorian Season 2, and she's a witch. And apparently, it's all part of her plan.
Messing up everything. Morgan.
Then our titular character Ahsoka Tano arrives, in the first of many scenes where our characters slowly walk up to sets that are clearly in the volume, followed by long blank stares at scenery that may have some meaning to people who watch Clone Wars and the Rebels, and none to people who...
Yeah, I was thinking when I was doing one of my reactions on YouTube memberships or Patreon, whichever one you prefer, they're always doing that. Always doing that. You can always see better without the damn hood. They're always doing it as if it's a dramatic reveal. Over the years, I've gotten tired of it. No matter whose movie it is. Even when it was Lucas, it was like, hey, here it comes. Here it comes. There it is. They always have to do that.
Who didn't. After an excruciating amount of time, Ahsoka finally figures out that if you line the top of the stone plinths to the women who are holding the balls, you win a ball. And what a shocker, this ball of MacGuffin is a map. And surprise, surprise, this ball of MacGuffin map requires a key. that gives you a location to a person, which is totally not like the map from The Force Awakens and really not like the map from The Rise of Skywalker. After that, Ahsoka is leisurely confronted by an assassin droid and they have a staring contest.
I like this confrontation. In real time.
And after giving up the element of surprise,
Us.
Oh,
What an idiot!
I mean, this guy right here could have just shot her in the back of the head. After what could be best described as combat-themed interpretive dance, the assassin droids just give up and then politely announce they're going to self-destruct, followed by a very slow countdown that allowed Ahsoka to outrun a blast that looked like it could have blown up half the planet. Our titular character Ahsoka returns to the capital city of Lothal and learns from Hera that the New Republic has lost her prisoner, which is obviously Ahsoka's fault for putting the prisoner in the custody of a white guy in Disney Star Wars. Duh. Ahsoka doesn't seem very concerned about this, but to be fair, it's hard to tell how she's feeling about anything in this show, to be honest. And it looks like Rosario Dawson's going after Amelia Clark's record on Secret Invasion of going the most time on screen without changing her facial expression. 6 episodes to go, I'm rooting for her. It turns out Ray Stevenson and the Chihuahua not only got away with Morgan, but they killed everybody on the ship. Then we get this gem from the genius girl boss Hera.
You seem to have abilities like you.
I mean, what gave it away? The dark robes, the lightsabers, throwing people around with the Force, killing the entire crew and destroying a ship, but all is not lost because...
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, they have abilities like you. They seem to have abilities. No, they have abilities like you.
Because Ahsoka managed to find the ball map MacGuffin. And if you're coming into the show not having watched 7 seasons of the Clone Wars, 4 seasons of Rebels, Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and 2 episodes of Boba Fett, you're probably just thinking, well, it looks like a girl boss needs to find another girl boss to find the secret of the balls. And that secret is a Star Wars Extended Universe character that Disney Star Wars has yet to subvert in live action, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now that Ahsoka has the ball map MacGuffin, she needs a key to crack the code to the map. So does the highly trained Jedi Knight Ahsoka Tano use her resources from the New Republic and say call a cartographer, or possibly a space archaeologist that specializes in ancient witch temples. No, she calls on her former lover, Padawan, graffiti artist Sabine, a character from...
We'll see if they do this. We'll see.
A dated 2016 SJW plucked from the Tumblr Hall of Fame. And they introduce her in the most cringe scene possible. She's doing her best Top Gun impression on a speeder bike, listening to what sounds like baby metal. Now, nothing against baby metal, but it doesn't belong in Star Wars. And the first...
There really is music called baby metal? Seriously? I don't know. I never knew there was black metal and death metal. Actually, I did. I knew about death metal. Yeah, I knew about metal. Like when I was growing up, it was metal. But then as I got older, oh yeah, there's black metal and death metal and okay, baby metal. Okay.
Thing it reminded me of is the Vespas in Boba Fett, and most of the rest of the
episode
is Sabine going to her mid-desert luxury watchtower apartment. Following that, Sabine goes back to the capital of Lothal where she meets Ahsoka, and we get some serious breakup vibes. Then there's another long plotting scene that's largely mute on Ahsoka's ship of Sabine looking at stuff. Then Sabine takes the ball map MacGuffin against Ahsoka's will back to her luxurious mid-desert watchtower apartment. Turns out she's being tracked by Ray Stevenson's Schnauzer in a scene that's supposed to remind us of the Phantom Menace.
Exactly, that's exactly what I said.
Menace? After what feels like an eternity, Sabine finally cracks the code of the MacGuffin ball map, something a 3-year-old could have figured out. And it reveals that Thrawn is in a galaxy far, far away from a galaxy far, far away. But before Sabine can back up the information, she's attacked by some very polite assassin droids who decide to grope her instead of kill her. She actually punches one of them and it works. So after these very polite, formidable assassin droids decide not to shoot and kill Sabine or squeeze her in a jelly, they get away and hand the ball map MacGuffin to Ray Stevenson's little Shih Tzu. Now that the little Pekingese has accomplished her mission and
especially the leg part,
MacGuffin, does she A, leave, or B, announce to Sabine this is exactly what she's been looking for, and then risk losing it by getting into some girl-on-girl saber action? Nice. If you guessed B, then you'd be watching Disney Star Wars. And we finally have it. Sexism is cured. Because according to Screen Rant, Ahsoka contains the first live-action girl-on-girl saber duel. Unfortunately, there are countless 10 to 20 minute independent films on a hub that say otherwise. After a best described as combat-themed interpretive dance, Sabine gets run through the gut with a lightsaber. Oh no, our beloved 2016 SJW Tumblerista
right through the liver.
Be dead.
Well then.
Barely an inconvenience. Revenge does wonders. Barely an inconvenience. Barely an inconvenience. Barely an inconvenience.
Big shocker, Sabine survives and Qui-Gon Jinn is a massive pussy. And I know some of you might bring up Han Solo, but we have an exclusive deleted scene from The Force Awakens that says otherwise.
Hello out there. I seem to have fallen down.
I knew it.
I'm still alive, and I'm very badly injured.
I knew you were gonna use that.
I'm broken, but I'm trying to stand up. Oh, yes, they are broken. I'm in an extraordinary.
I knew he was gonna use
amount
that.
of pain. The bone has gone through the skin. I feel it might be gangrenous. The wound is beginning to smell a little like almonds, which is not good.
No.
Please, no one.
The good news about the second episode of Ahsoka is it's a little shorter. The bad news, nothing happens. Ray Stevenson and his poodle now have the unlocked ball map MacGuffin, and it takes two
Ray definitely
separate
was pretty
scenes
cool.
for him to put the ball map MacGuffin on a stone altar. Then, of course, Ray Stevenson has to get the girl boss before he can do
But I
anything.
picked
and
that metal
essentially
plates
see
off
the
of her
same
legs.
map as we saw in Sabine's mid-desert luxury watchtower apartment, except bigger. Again, Sabine just shook off that gut shot from the lightsaber because the once formidable weapon from George Lucas's Star Wars that would melt metal and turn your insides into stir fry, now it just gives you cute little puncture wounds. And because we haven't been there enough, now Ahsoka goes to Sabine's
Bet you
mid-desert
someone gets that
luxury
tattoo.
watchtower
I
apartment
bet
in the
you.
hopes that the one remaining super secret assassin droid is still there, and lo and behold, it is. And if that isn't convenient enough for you, this super secret assassin droid has the location of where it was manufactured and coded in its head.
What is it? This droid came here from Corellia.
The New Republic shipyard?
Morgan Elspeth had factories on Corellia.
Her Imperial operation should have been dismantled after the rebellion.
Anyone check on that?
I'll meet you there.
And yes, that was that scene in real time. So after going back and forth between Sabine's mid-desert luxury...
That's what I meant about it being slow or boring sometimes. I heard a lot of people are saying it's boring. But you have some people say, if you watched the Rebels, you watched Rebels and Clone Wars, some people are like, if you watch that, you're just intrigued. And I'm like, okay. I'll go back and watch them, and I'll see if I'm intrigued when I watch this over again.
Watchtower apartment and the capital of...
Don't tell me I can't do it that way.
They finally go somewhere else. Turns out the super secret assassin droid that conveniently had its manufacturing location encoded in its head was made at the Corellian shipyards. Remember Han Solo? And now Ahsoka, General Hera, and Chopper are on their way to the Corellian shipyards to go meet Dr. Taub from House. Oh look, it's another white guy. He couldn't possibly be bad. And why are they going? Well, apparently the New Republic has been a little lax, even though it's been several years since the Battle of Endor, and hasn't bothered to check to see if there's any Imperial Remnant shenanigans going on their shipyards. And the contrivances don't end there. When General Hera has to ask Dr. Taub from House if a piece of equipment is a hyperdrive.
Is that a hyperdrive core?
Yes. General Hera then immediately identifies it as something that is too big for anything the New Republic has built.
The New Republic defense fleet isn't building anything that big. What class of starship are they for?
After being told that information is classified, General Hera says this.
Classified. I'm a general. Nothing's classified to me.
Sure, except for the fact that you were completely surprised that there may be some Imperial shenanigans going on at a major shipyard and Imperials still work there.
This was one of Morgan's facilities for Imperial-class Star Destroyers.
Do the facilities still employ any of her former staff?
Of course, there's no other way to remain operational. An empire doesn't just become a republic overnight. You will still find ex-imperials at every level of the New Republic government.
Based on that, I would say it's in the realm of possibility that General Hera wouldn't know what type of ships the New Republic are building, but the better answer is the New Republic is run by a bunch of window-licking morons who never had a chance, and it's just more Disney Star Wars pissing on George Lucas's legacy. Anyway, back to the contrivances. Remember that super secret assassin droid they were trying to track down? Well, they just ran into another droid that happened to see it.
I have seen such a droid. An 8K class droid recently prevented me from completing this task.
Where is this droid now?
I believe it is departing on that transport.
Hurry up.
How convenient.
Oh, and there's a real easy way to pick out the Imperials in this show. It's the white guys.
I said stop that shit. That's an order.
Maybe next time shoot before you say for the Empire. Oh, thank God, a pointless, boring action scene to break the pointless, boring monotony. Ahsoka performs some more combat-themed interpretive dance with Snake Eyes and a super secret assassin droid. I know, it's not Snake Eyes, it's the mystery Marok character. Is it Ezra? Is it Starkiller? Is it Freckle Jesus?
I don't care!
And General Hera goes in pursuit of the
We'll
very
find out, I
slow-moving
guess.
transport vehicle. Where's the security? Why doesn't she call for backup? Don't know. So it shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that the bad guys got away, but not before Chopper was able to put a tracking device on the transport ship. And we learned that hyperdrive is a key component to a ship called the Eye of Sauron. I'm sorry, Scion.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
That's right, a ship called the Eye of Scion, which will take Girl Boss Morgan, Snake Eyes, Ray Stevenson, and his Yorkshire Terrier to Thrawn. And because you weren't getting enough of it, we get one more scene in Sabine's mid-desert luxury watchtower apartment. Sabine gives herself a lesbian haircut, puts on her Mandalorian armor because we haven't had enough Mandalorians in Disney Star Wars lately. And after 2 episodes of what seemed like will gay or won't gay, Ahsoka and Sabine get back together, hop in the space U-Haul, and they're off to usurp Luke Skywalker's story. Ahsoka's biggest crime is that it is incredibly boring and obviously padding time for watch minutes. And this is on brand for D+. 30 minutes of script spread over about an hour and a half. And this cannot be undersold. There's a lot of staring in this show, long pauses between dialogue, walking slowly inside of rooms or the inside of spaceships looking at stuff, and another Disney Star Wars product that's just named after a character. What the hell happened to titles? Solo, Obi-Wan, Boba Fett, Andor, and now Ahsoka, which is a show that's mostly about Sabine. And what happened to all the rest of the male characters in Rebels? I know Ezra is missing and Kanan is dead, but what about Callus, Rex, or Zeb?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't care.
No, Star Wars isn't saved. Every second of content that Disney Star Wars produces is equal to digging up a corpse to defile it one more time. Is Ahsoka as bad as Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, or The Mandalorian Season 3? Time will tell. But after watching these episodes multiple times for this review, it's looking that way. Which is a shame because I like Rosario Dawson and Ray Stevenson, R.I.P. Disney Star Wars is just a copy of a copy of a copy, and unfortunately, this is the best they can do. And now Disney Star Wars is trying to mirror with Ahsoka the Phantom Menace of all things. It's just self-referential, nostalgia-bait gobbledygook, and with writing like this, it's no wonder why the WGA fears AI. And to paraphrase everyone's friend Robert Meyer Burnett, Disney Star Wars isn't about anything. It's just about itself. And now it's a world I could give a shit about. And looking back on it, that's crazy because I was a hardcore Star Wars fan from 1977 until the day The Last Jedi was released, severing all emotional attachment to this franchise. But if I'm going to cover something, it actually helps to watch.
Doesn't that hurt? Doesn't that hurt so much that they destroyed the franchise so much? You have to cut that emotional attachment you have to it. That it's like, God, it's like you have certain movies in your collection that are part of the franchise and certain series that are just great, but you want the whole thing as a unit to flow with greatness, and you just have to cut off that ugly stepchild. All these ugly stepchildren that they're making from your happiness. It's horrible.
Watch it, knowing that you can't put the soy milk back into the titty. And yes, we used to say all roads lead to Jake Skywalker, but now it's pretty clear that all roads lead to Ahsoka Tano. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, well, tough shit, Lucasfilm. I'll see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com.
Oh, man. Good job. Funny as usual, Roddick. Man. I'm depressed. It's feeling pretty good. But, you know, you have to avoid the truth sometimes to stay happy. It's like, oh, one of my favorite franchises of all time is trash now? Oh, God. Oh, God. Let me go watch some old episodes of SpongeBob. That'll make me laugh, make me feel better. May the Force be with us. 10 million subscribers. Whoa.